Pull me out of the net which they've secretly laid for me, for you are my strength. David's enemies were cunning as well as mighty. They not only came at him openly, they came at him with craft and with stealth, whispering, scheming, undermining, subverting. David cries out, pull me out of the net which they've secretly laid for me. I don't know what traps they have laid for me, but you know what they are, Lord. Pull me out of that net. The image is of a fowler, that is, one who would hunt and trap wild fowl. He did so by trickery. He did so with snares and traps and nets. Potiphar's wife laid a net for Joseph. The jealous Babylonians laid a net for Daniel. Delilah laid a net for Samson. The scribes, Pharisees, Sadducees, and Herodians laid nets for the Lord Jesus. And you may encounter those who will lay nets for you. Maybe at work or at school. They may try to put you in some compromising situation, knowing that you're a believer. Hiding stolen property in your locker. Leading in authority to think that you lied or cheated when you didn't. Christian, remember, you have spiritual enemies. And they're very subtle. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. C.S. Lewis reminds us that Satan and his demons can make inroads into our lives, not only in tempting us toward blatant tragic falls, as David fell with Bathsheba, but in the ordinary interactions of daily life. In the Screwtape Letters, experienced demon Screwtape counsels his nephew Wormwood with these words. When two humans have lived together for many years, it usually happens that each has tones of voice and expressions of face which are almost unendurably irritating to the other. Work on that. Bring fully into the consciousness of your patient that particular lift of his mother's eyebrows which he learned to dislike in the nursery. And let him think how much he dislikes it. Let him assume that she knows how annoying it is and does it to annoy him. If you know your job, he will not notice the immense improbability of the assumption. And of course, never let him suspect that he has tones and looks which similarly annoy her. As he cannot see or hear himself, this is easily managed. In civilized life, domestic hatred usually expresses itself by saying things which would appear quite harmless on paper. The words are not offensive, but in such a voice or at such a moment that they are not far short of a blow in the face. To keep this game up, you must see to it that each of these two fools has a sort of double standard. Your patient must demand that all his own utterances are to be taken at their face value and judged simply on the actual words, while at the same time judging all his mother's utterances with the fullest and most oversensitive interpretation of the tone and the context and the suspected intention. She must be encouraged to do the same to him. Hence, from every quarrel, they can go away both convinced, or very nearly convinced, that they are quite innocent. You know the kind of thing. I simply ask her what time dinner will be, and she flies into a temper. Once this habit is well established, you have the delightful situation of a human saying things with the express purpose of offending, and yet having a grievance when offense is taken. Friend, what strategy is Satan using to cause you to stumble? Paul said, we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his devices. May that be true of us.